Hey guys, what's up? Sports Talk 123 here. And as you guys all probably know, the Major League Baseball trade deadline has gone and passed. It passed earlier today. And there are some huge deals this year. This has got to be one of the most exciting trade deadlines we've had in a while. I know a lot of big name players always get dealt, but it seemed like a little more big name players got dealt this time around. And there were some big surprises, deals that we thought weren't going to go down, some players that we thought weren't going to be traded ended up getting traded, some deals went down, and some stuff that we just definitely didn't expect. So, I just I'm just gonna use this as a special video just to break down the whole deadline for you, give you guys some of my views on the topics, my winners and losers of the deadline, my top 5 deals, and all that stuff. So, today I'm gonna start out with my top 5 trades of the trade deadline. We're gonna start out with number 5, where I have Michael Bourne going to the Atlanta Braves. Alright, so guys, in this deal between the Houston Astros and the Atlanta Braves, the Houston Astros acquire Brett Oberholzer, Paul Clements, Juan Abreu, and Jordan Schaefer. And the Atlanta Braves acquire center fielder Michael Bourne. Now, this is my number 5 trade because not only is Michael Bourne quietly a great player and is a great leadoff hitter for a contending team, batting .303 with 39 stolen bases, leading the National League with stolen bases, and a .300 hitter with that kind of speed and that batting average, a great leadoff hitter for any team. But also, the Houston Astros acquire young center fielder Jordan Schaefer, who is a top prospect talent, who in his first major league at bat hit a home run and was lighting it up in the big leagues during his first season before he fell into a little bit of a slump and injury problems have derailed his career. But as soon as he comes back healthy, he's still very young and he can still be very productive in the major leagues. So that is why this is my top 5. This is why this is my number 5 trade, and this trade has cracked the top 5. Alright guys, so moving on to number 4. Alright guys, for number 4 it was a tough decision because there were a lot of good quality trades with some big name players. But since I think this trade affected the playoffs the least, I decided to put the Colby Rasmus to the Toronto Blue Jays trade at number 4 on my top 5 deadline deals. Now this trade sent Cardinals Colby Rasmus, Brian Talent, Trevor Miller, and P.J. Walters to the Toronto Blue Jays, and it sent Blue Jays Edwin Jackson, Mark Repchinski, Octavio Dotel, and Corey Patterson to the St. Louis Cardinals. Obviously, the Toronto Blue Jays win this deal. They get the star outfielder, the young outfielder, the up-and-coming guy, the guy who will be great for years and years. But, Colby Rasmus was disgruntled in St. Louis. They needed to get rid of him, and they got him for some decent players. Did they get the max they could have got out of him? No. There were probably teams that would have given Cardinals a lot more for Colby Rasmus. Or if there wasn't, there should be a lot of teams that would give a lot more for Colby Rasmus. But the Cardinals do get Edwin Jackson, who can be a solid middle-of-the-rotation starter for a contending team. Mark Repchinski, who can be a left-handed specialist out of the bullpen and get most left-handed hitters out. Octavio Dotel, who can be a good 7th, 8th inning guy for the Cardinals. And outfielder Corey Patterson, veteran outfielder Corey Patterson, who can still be a good backup outfielder, short-term option for a contending team. Trevor Miller, the left-hander out of the bullpen, really wasn't getting the job done for the Cardinals, so it was a good move getting Mark Repchinski to pretty much replace him. And the Cardinals do get some good pieces, but this deal goes to the Toronto Blue Jays. And since this really wasn't a big deal because the Toronto Blue Jays probably aren't making the playoffs this year, well, it's almost certain that they're not going to make the playoffs this year, so I think this deal didn't really affect the playoffs. So now we are moving on to number 3 on the top 5 deadline deals countdown. Alright guys, number 3 on the top 5 deadline deals countdown is the deal sending Carlos Beltran to the San Francisco Giants. Now this was a relatively small deal, only a 1-for-1 player deal. Relatively low risk for the San Francisco Giants since, Carlos Beltran, not that young anymore, and he can still do some things out in the field, still a great fielder, and obviously now the best hitter on the San Francisco Giants, but has that injury risk and injury history, some lingering issues maybe, and we'll never know if he'll get back into his prime or not, if he'll get back into prime form or not. But just a relatively small deal, the San Francisco Giants acquiring Carlos Beltran, and the New York Mets acquiring San Francisco pitching prospect Zach Wheeler. Now, Zach Wheeler is a very good prospect, but the Giants don't really need pitching prospects. They'll be all right on pitching for the next 5 to 10 years. They got some good young pitchers, So Zach Wheeler, they didn't really need him. So, they could afford to get rid of him, especially if it gives them a good bat like Carlos Beltran. So, all-around good deal for both teams. New York Mets get a young pitching prospect that they need, and the San Francisco Giants get the power bat that they need to hopefully win the World Series again this year. Alright, guys, now moving on to number 2. Alright, guys, at number 2, I have Ubaldo Jimenez going to the Cleveland Indians. This trade might have been number 1 if Ubaldo was having the season he had last year, but with him struggling a little bit this year, and the trade being as lopsided as I think it was, I don't think this trade deserved to be number 1, but it's still a great trade for both teams. Cleveland Indians, get the ace workhorse that they need to hopefully make a playoff run. They get the number 1 pitcher that they need. But I think Cleveland Indians definitely way overpaid for him. Yes, they do have a stacked farm system, but that doesn't mean you can just go blowing your prospects away. Yes, you do get the good young starting pitcher in Ubaldo Jimenez, but you give up 2 high-quality, high-caliber young pitching prospects for him in Drew Pomeranz and Alex White. Those are both pitchers who are going to be solid major leaguers one day, and 2 good young pitchers, and still 2 more prospects just to acquire Ubaldo Jimenez, I think is a little bit crazy. They obviously think Ubaldo Jimenez is very good, and they obviously think they can sign him for a long time and hopefully get him for cheap because they're not exactly spending a lot of money and never really have. But anyway, this is my number 2 trade. I think this is a great deal for both teams. Not really the best deal in the world for Cleveland, but I think they'll take it for this year. The Colorado Rockies definitely get better in the future. Good young talent: Troy Tulowitzki, Carlos Gonzalez, Alex White, Drew Pomeranz, Matt McBride, Joe Gardner. All these players all around, Eric Young Jr., all these good young players, they will definitely all fit together in Colorado, and I definitely see them doing good things in the future. Alright, so now, I'm sure you all can guess what's number 1, but we're moving on to number 1. Obviously, guys, no surprise here at number 1, the trade of Hunter Pence to the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, this is huge news. Philadelphia fills one of their only real holes, getting a right-handed bat and a right-handed bat out in the outfield, which was even better. Struggling Dominique Brown, Raul Ibanez getting up there in age. This will definitely help them with their outfield depth. Now they have 4 good outfielders that they can play around with. And, I think this definitely helps them. This obviously makes them probably the World Series favorite if they already weren't. But this definitely puts them ahead of the Boston Red Sox, who made very little noise in the on the trade deadline. I mean, getting Eric Bedard and stuff, but nothing as big as Hunter Pence. The last 3 years in a row, Cliff Lee, Roy Oswalt, and Hunter Pence. Phillies definitely know what they're doing, definitely got their stuff together. Obviously, they have good young players coming up, because they still got players like Dominique Brown coming in from their farm system, but they're still making these huge deadline deals every year. So they're definitely farm system. They're doing good in their drafting and stuff. And obviously, this is Houston's back in the top 5 after having the number 5 deal. Houston had some very good players, but their team just wasn't very good overall, and they definitely sent their good players to the right teams to make the trade deadline exciting, sending them to Atlanta and Philadelphia. Both NL East teams picking up a good young outfielder from the Houston Astros. So very exciting deadline for the Houston Astros, picking up Jonathan Singleton and Jared Cozart from the Philadelphia Phillies. Decent deal there for them. So, that's my top 5 deadline deals. Now we're gonna look at the top 3 teams that I think improved the most for this year from the trade deadline. So, guys, at number 3 for my top 3 teams that have improved from this year, I'm gonna have to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Definitely filled some holes, getting Ryan Ludwig and getting Derek Lee and some other veterans that will definitely help their team out. They have a very young team, needed some veteran bats, some veteran help. They're just to guide those rookies, through the playoffs. Derek Lee's definitely been through the playoffs and done that. Ryan Ludwig been in the playoffs before, and they'll definitely help out this team. Number 2, I'm going to have to go with the Atlanta Braves. They're ranking next to last, pretty close to last in the major leagues in both offensive production for a leadoff hitter and a center fielder. Michael Bourne will definitely help out there. 50 to 60 stolen base guy and a 300 hitter, 2-time Gold Glove winner, so definitely is going to bring all that to the table. And number one is the San Francisco Giants. You know, the World Series winner last year definitely had one of the biggest needs out in the trading market. Definitely, you know, needed to pick up a big bat. Their pitching is definitely going to lead them through the playoffs again this year. Probably back to the World Series, maybe even. But this acquisition of Carlos Beltran definitely helps a lot. I know some teams that I left off this list are definitely the Philadelphia Phillies definitely got better, getting Hunter Pence. Uh, Texas Rangers definitely got better, Mike Adams, Koji Iwahara. But those are just the three teams that I think got filled their biggest needs during the offseason. The Phillies really didn't have a lot of needs, so yes, I do like the Hunter Pence pickup for them, but I don't think they gained the most from this trade deadline. And the Rangers, you know, just no big name moves really. Mike Adams, Koji Iwahara, you know, nice, good, really good players, but nothing huge. I mean, they definitely need to probably go out and get a good starting pitcher, but the bullpen help definitely does help, and they do still have that explosive offense. But you know, hitting comes and goes in the playoffs, so I don't expect them to repeat their run of last year, especially without Cliff Lee. Next, my teams who I see doing the best in the future. Definitely the Colorado Rockies are a team that definitely improved, getting all the prospects they got for Ubaldo Jimenez. They definitely have some young starting pitchers coming up. Matt McBride will definitely be a good major league hitter, and they definitely have some nice pieces coming up in the future. Also, the Houston Astros, with the two trades they got done, they definitely acquired a lot of good prospects for both Michael Bourn and Hunter Pence. They're definitely looking very good. And the Toronto Blue Jays are definitely looking like they're going to be a real good team with Colby Rasmus playing center field. But, you know, it's really hard with them in the division with the Yankees and Red Sox, because even if they do look good for the future, and maybe the Red Sox and Yankees look like they're getting older, well, then the Red Sox and Yankees are just going to shed their contracts, and they're just going to go out and get a whole new team of elite superstars. So, you know, I definitely don't like how the Major Leagues doesn't have a salary cap, because it leaves small teams out, and the Yankees and Red Sox don't have to always be smart with the moves they make, because even if they sign an old guy and it doesn't work out, well, then 1 year later, they can just go out and get another guy, because they just have all the money in the world to do that, and the Toronto Blue Jays aren't exactly at their payroll level. So, you know, guys, those are definitely my views about the trade deadline and everything that went down. I hope you guys enjoyed my views. I know everyone's not going to agree with them. If you guys have your opinions, make sure you leave your opinions in the comment below, because I'd like to know what you guys think. I know I probably missed some stuff. I probably left some teams off, and there were definitely a lot of good choices, but those are just the teams that I think did the best. That's just my opinion. I try to do my research and follow baseball a lot, and I think those are definitely some of the top teams that are going to affect the MLB playoffs. So, guys, remember, leave your comments below about anything you want me to talk about in the future, or anything you guys think about this video. Also, I'm still looking for more people to do dual news reports for me. If you want to do that, just you know, leave a comment below or send me a message, and I'll definitely give you the details. We could even have like a little news broadcast just about some different topics. I'd talk about some stuff, you talk about some stuff. I'd give you a shout out, get your channel out there and stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Also, I'm looking for a person to make me a background for my channel. I know a lot of people have these. I just got a new icon from Triple Play News, and he's working on a background from me. But if you guys have any better backgrounds that you'd want me to do, I would definitely make you guys a shout out video and definitely give you guys a shout out and stuff. But if you have a background, you know, send it to me and give me a place where I can download it, and I'll definitely use your background. So that's about it for this video. Thanks a lot, guys. SportsTalk123. See you.